Hello there everyone, this is Company of Heroes, and this is on my channel, unlike the Let's Play that's supposed to go on the Walk the Corner. I'll get back to it eventually, but I'm actually going to show you something. This is the mod, the Eastern Front. Now, the co-servers are dying as of probably today or tomorrow, but we'll be using Hamachi in order to keep playing this. I'm currently in the Austere beta, and so what I wanted to do was I wanted to introduce you all to the Eastern Front. The mod, at least. I wanted to introduce you all to the Eastern Front through this gameplay video. Now, I have some replays from the Eastern Front mod, and I'm going to show you one of them. Let me just find the one. Here's one. I'll probably use this one, actually. This one was on Moscow. Eastern Front mod has several different maps that you can actually fight on. It adds two new factions to Company of Heroes. It adds the Soviet Union, so the USSR, and it adds the Austere, which is a new German team. The Austere being a new team that is currently still in development. This is the Austere beta. It's currently in the 2.0.0.0 patch. The normal Eastern Front patch is 1.7.2.0. So that's just to let you know. So what are the Russians and the Soviets? So the Russians are they're similar to the North Americans. We'll be able to see them in a second, but the Russians are a form of American troop where they have a lot of units that are very swarmy and powerful, but they need to take on the Austere in a different way than the Americans, where the Americans would usually try to get right up in your face and try to take you down with close range combat. The Russians are now trying to take you out more from long range. I've noticed they have close up upgrades. I'm just going to go over certain units, and I'm going to watch a replay for you all, so that way you all can see some things. And I'm going to tell you things like what the units do and things like that. Now because this is still a beta and they're still updating it on a consistent basis, they're still trying to make tooltips and stuff for the beta. It does not have some units that are described very well, or some tooltips are kind of wrong because they changed them. But we'll be able to see some of them maybe in this game. Now, something you might want to know about the Russians is that they actually don't start with any builder unit whatsoever. They start with none. So what you have to do is, when you play as them, you have to build your first builder out of the gate. My standard build for Russians is a 2 engineer start, because similar to the 2 engineer start from the American faction. If you know me, I play the Americans. Almost, that's basically my main in Company of Heroes. The Russians have a certain type of building structure. They have a similar to American structure in their building format, while the Austere actually have custom-made buildings, custom-made models for their buildings. As you can see there, it actually doesn't look anything like a Wehrmacht quarters or the Tier 1 building for the Panzer Elite. But that's their Red Army mustering tent. Out of this, in this current patch, the Russians can actually build their command squad out of there. And as you notice right there, there's a little man that came up when I built that. This is a conscript. Conscripts are lowly trained troops that were around during 1941, when the Eastern Front was being attacked by Germany. The conscript now is a call-in. In a 1.7.2, if you actually download the mod, you'll notice that conscripts are actually in your Tier 1 Red Army mustering tents. Now they've been turned to a call-in, and now the only things that come out of there are your command squad and your Strelkies and guards. Guard rifles being some of the best units in the game for an elite infantry unit that's non-doctrinal. I actually enjoy them very much. Now, from the Austere plater, we have some Lancers. Lancers being their mainline infantry, similar to how conscripts are the early game Russian mainline infantry, and how Strelkies become that later on. Here comes my first conscript squad. Conscripts are very cheap in terms of manpower and in terms of reinforcement. I believe they're only 16 manpower to reinforce, while they're only 220 to actually get. We go for a nice flank on these Lancers. Lancers are, since they're mainline infantry, they do cost a bit more to reinforce, but they're more combat effective than conscripts are. Conscripts can get an upgrade, however, called Weapon Reserves, which was an upgrade that they could originally get in 1.7.2. This upgrade then allows them to do a lot of it allows them to do more combat effectiveness, because a conscript on its own, as you see, all 4 of these guys have guns. Well, the conscript over here, you'll notice that there are just guys running around without guns. That's the thing. Conscripts are 7-man squads, but only 4 of them have guns. As one dies, he picks up his brother's gun to defend the motherland. We have some capping over here from Sturm Pioneers. Sturm Pioneers are actually better at close range than they are at distance. And the map is being divided. Now, something that you want to know about the Austere in this game is that the Austere actually have 2 formats of unit production. Units are actually produced from one of 2 ways. You can either get units that are from like the offensive side of your buildings, or from the defensive side. Defensive units are things like the MG32 or things like that, while the offensive one is things like this kind of a bike-looking unit, the Kubelwagen. The Kubelwagen being from the offensive side, it can actually get upgrades that make it even more combat effective. Now we have some Sturm Pioneers doing some major damage to those conscripts. As you see, conscripts are very weak, while a rifleman could more than likely take down an engineer, or a pioneer I should say, very easily. Conscripts still have their little bit of troubles. And we have some Ingenierie fighting these Sturm Pioneers. Ingenierie being better at long distance, while the Sturm Pioneers are better at short range. As you see, when they get up close, they start ripping apart the Ingenierie, but they took some early game damage, so they're gonna have to retreat. Now, this Kubelwagen is very good for actually, for actually not abusing, but for actually coming up and doing a lot of damage to the conscripts and the like. I standardly try this current game. I wasn't using it, but I do like to go for a standard triple conscript start, because you can only make 3 conscripts, so it's the most effective. It's the most units you could get. Now, you might have noticed, what did these guys hit? There's no crater. Usually that's a mine. Well, actually they did hit a mine. It's called Springtrap. It's just another format of mine. This Kubelwagen is actually really damaged, so he's going to have to go back for repairs soon enough. And we have the Tier 2 building, the Infantry Gefechtscommand, coming up for the Austere player as my Soviet support barracks comes up. The Soviet support barracks is necessary in order to actually get Strelkies out. Strelkies being your true mainline infantry, along with guards. But guards are more the elite. You probably only want 2 guards at most, because they are a bit of a manpower sink if you don't take care of them. But they are pretty tough. Now, the command squad is interesting in its format. The command squad actually gains veterancy based on the amount of kills it gets, similar to other units. However, something that you want to know about this is that they don't actually while they do gain vet for that, their vet is actually universal. So when they get their vet, they're universally giving this vet to every single unit on the field. Now you might be saying, oh, that's OP. How the fuck do they have vet that's just all over the place? Well, it's not really overpowered as much as it's a support thing that gives all of your units more effectiveness. It really does help the conscript. If you give them defensive vet, now they can actually kind of fight out in the field for longer. If they get double defensive vet, then they can do even more. It really does help to give the command squad their upgrade. However, when you give them that upgrade, they lose their long distance effectiveness. So you always have to take that into account. Now you have another engagement right here between these conscripts and lancers. And by the way, I am introducing you to the Eastern Front mod not just because I want to introduce some people to a mod in Company of Heroes, which is the game I play like almost every day, but I also want to introduce people to it because I will be shoutcasting games in the Eastern Front mod. Here we go with a Molotov cocktail, but those conscripts are about to go down retreat. Molotov cocktails being really awesome abilities the conscripts get. Now here's a light MG34. The light MG34 doing a lot of damage. It can suppress, unlike normal LMGs like that. But the problem with the light MG34 is that it's a 2-man squad, and with it being a 2-man squad, it doesn't actually it can't fight snipers very well. If it gets caught off guard by a sniper and the other guy has low health, because when models die, they do take their health with them, of course. Then that means that the 2-man squad could die very easily. So that's always something to remember. I didn't think about it in this match, because I think this is the first match I actually played against this guy. This is Neo Desir, I believe. We have my first Strelky out, and we have some Lancers healing back up the base, having repaired this Kubelwagen. Now, something you might have noticed, I'm not sure if... Yeah, here it is. these guys, when they start moving again, we can actually see their heads. They actually gain these Lancers, or really the Austere, gain vet kind of differently than other units. You can see that little med pack above their head there. If you can see it, the little med pack they have up there actually discerns what their vet is. They have 3 forms of vet. It's similar to the Panzer Elite format of Veterancy, where the vet for them is kind of different than most other teams, where their vet is actually gained based on like offensive or defensive. Now while Engineering are tough against Stern Pioneers, they're not so great against Kubelwagons and the like. They're still kind of weak. But this Kubelwagen is getting hit by Strelkies, and Strelkies are powerful infantry. And you never want to sit there and actually have your Kubelwagen or any type of light vehicle like that caught off guard, and it does go down. Now you see this guy's actually cut me off from or he's been cut off technically from these resources. Something that you always want to remember about Company of Heroes, if you're not up on the up and up, is that Company of Heroes is a game really based around cutoffs. See, he's connected here. You can see all this red. That's his territory. This red is his territory as well, but he's cut off from it. Now these Lancers are actually been caught off guard, and one thing that you might want to notice about the Soviet vet is that the Soviets do still gain vet stripes, even though they don't gain vet similar to the way that the Austere get their vet, but they do still gain vet stripes similar to the Americans or the Brits. I haven't been able to actually look up all the stats of what their vet does. Excuse me. But their vet does do some heavy damage for them. Now, these Strelkies don't have upgrades. In the base, there's actually a building right here called the Armory, and as you can see, I'm getting the red banner Strelky. Red banner Strelky basically means that they now have a red banner with them, banner with the Soviet flag on it. And that's one thing that you might want to always remember about this mod, is that there's a lot of detail in all of the models and all of the units. These sounds aren't just generic sounds that come from anywhere. Those are custom sounds. And I have some light artillery going down on top of those Lancers, and they're probably going to die, and that's a very painful grenade. Or they could just get away with, like, no health. And now, one thing you always want to remember about Company of Heroes is cover. Always remember to have cover. You don't want to ever be caught off at cover. And as you can see, there's that LMG suppressing, and then the Strelkies did hit a mine, and that led to their inevitable retreat. The LMG is very powerful in this game. Now you have some Panzerjägers, one of the most broken units that I think they've ever introduced, because not that they're broken in the sense that they're just broken units, it's because they have Panzerschrecks, and in a previous patch, 1.7.2, there were tank hunters. That's what the Russians had. But then in the current patch, for at least 2.0, they don't have that anymore. And without that, the Russians have no definite way of actually fighting. Now we have we have an upgrade going on these Red Banner Strelky here. One thing you might want to remember about the Red Banner Strelky is that I believe when you get it, one of the guys stops being combat effective. He just holds the red banner, and that's the whole thing, is that he holds the flag. And as you know, in actual history, you don't actually want to have someone drop your flag. I believe it's a PPSH SMG, very good at close range, and it's just a good unit. If you can actually mix this up with your guard rifles, they can actually do a lot of damage. These Strelkies can. Now you have a sniper over here. As you see here, the sniper is actually not just one dude, it's 2 people. He has a spotter and he has a sniper, and he's the sniper himself. And they're actually dressed up in a very informal format. But the spotter is what keeps the sniper going. Now as you see, I'm doing a lot of attritional damage to these Lancers. Now they're down to 2 men and compared to the 4 men that they were before. And a Rock's Flamethrower upgrade on these Engineering. Engineering can be upgraded with several upgrades. Some of them more useful than others. Like the Minesweeper is very useful if you see mine usage, but I've never really been able to do that. And wow, that Engineering almost got sniped on retreat by that Panzer. That's not supposed to happen, I don't think. We have a grenade going on those guys, and we actually have some Panzer Alright, I don't speak German, just to let everyone know, but Panzer Fusiliers or something like that. So you have to keep that in mind. I believe we have some retreating Panzer Jaegers and a retreating LMG Gren. I'm not sure exactly what that was for. Now, I don't really understand the point of the two sniper team. The double sniper team just doesn't really... I don't really see it. I don't really understand why you have to have it, because while it's historically accurate, yes, it's not really necessary. In fact, we have a German sniper out, and as you see, he's a marksman and he's one man. That means that the Austere player has now changed over to the defensive side of his unit's composition. The Austere, just in general, I believe, have more units overall compared to the Russians, but the problem is that they only have access to 1/2 of those units at any given time. But they can actually create more units just based off, just keep switching back and forth. As you see, the map has been relatively back and forth in division terms. Now, something that I don't understand about the two-man sniper squad, and this is just the way that I look at it, is that the two-man sniper squad, while it's useful, yes, as a sniper, it just does great attritional damage, and against a like I mentioned before, against an LMG or in this case the light MG42 team. While it's very good against them because it can one-shot one of the guys and then bam, they're almost dead instantly, it just doesn't work in the long run. And now we have these Strokies that don't actually have any upgrades yet, but they still have their red banner. As you see, the red banner just kind of sits there. He doesn't even pull out a pistol or anything because he's too devoted to the motherland to actually pull out a pistol or whatever bullshit that they're holding. And we have a Russian tank haul going up to get some vehicles out. I'm not too up on the up and up with the Austere lineup of unit production. Like, I'm not really up on understanding it. And we have this marksman actually trying to get out these snipers. While you see there, the sniper does have a spotter. The Russian sniper is actually better at sniping than the German sniper is better at fighting better than the Russian sniper. Now here's why I don't really like the PPSH upgrade, and while it did kill those Lancers on retreat, I don't really like it going up close because, as you see, the units that the Austere gets are more based around close-up fighting. Just look at the LMG. While he's supposed to be long range, he doesn't really do much at long range. And while you look at these Panzer Jaegers, sure, they have Panzerschrecks and all that, but they're not that great. They're better at close range. Now this sniper actually did counter snipe my sniper, because two-man sniper squad apparently means that you can just get counter sniped so easily by one sniper shot, whatever. And now this sniper is going to do some major attritional damage. And we have some more vet gained on these Panzer Fusiliers or whatever. And now this sniper has been caught off, and he's going to have to retreat back because he's been caught out of position. I personally believe that the PPSH upgrade for the Strokies is useful from one sense of the word, but then it's only useful. Well, not one sense of the word, but it's only useful at one sense, but it's then useful at other senses. Like you see, these guys, they have assault rifles. These guys have assault rifles. Why is it that my PPSH upgrade, I just don't see it working that great for me. Now, when you get out your tank OV command or the Russian tank haul, when you get that, the Russian tank haul it's helpful from the sense that it can actually it can give you all of your vehicles, and we actually have a vehicle coming out from the Russian tank haul, but it's going to be coming this vehicle right here, the Panzer II Lux. The Panzer II Lux is a very much better anti-infantry tool. It's kind of like a Puma to an extent, or an armored car. Now, flamers for these guys can actually do a lot of damage. Flamers for who are these guys called again? These for these engineering, and even in my cast, you'll probably notice me saying that a lot. Like, who are these guys again? Because the flamers are much better. Now this is a T90. The T90 is supposed to be better against light vehicles and better against infantry. However, it doesn't really do that much. I've noticed that the T90 really doesn't help much against infantry as much as it helps against other units. And now we have some Brandenburgs over here. You can't actually see them on the map because they go infiltrated. Brandenburgers are a unit that are introduced in the I believe the support command doctrine for the Austere. Brandenburgers can instantly cap a point for a cost of 50 munitions, or instantly decap a point for the cost of 50 munitions. As you see, this guy, he's doing a lot of damage to these Panzerfuss, whatever, and these Panzerjägers. He's doing a lot of damage to them. However, he's not really that helpful. And now you notice that there's a little icon coming off of these guys' heads. They're, you know, this little ping that's coming off. That's due to the command squad. If you notice, the command squad has defensive vet. That means that those guys are now more defensively based, and they can actually tank more damage before they actually go down. Now, if I'm completely honest with you, if you're fighting another Austere vehicle, and this is just a tactical thing, if you're fighting another one, please, for the love of God, don't get the T90, just get the T70. The T70 is much better at it. And these engineers are about to go actually repair that. There's actually an upgrade for the engineer called, it's called the, what's it called? It's called the Sturmovie upgrade, and the Sturmovie upgrade basically makes them better at taking down units. And now you see, look at that. Look at the damage. And now, as I said, this is beta, but look at the damage of these guys versus these PPSHs versus these MP40s. It took more damage from the command squad than it did from the PPSHs, and it took more damage from the sniper. Now you see, my sniper just got counter-sniped. And as you saw there, the command squad just got killed. Therefore, now all of my units have now lost a lot of their luster. Now the Panzer II Lukes, I'm not exactly sure what's going on with it, where it has a sniper notification whenever it kills anything. It's kind of dumb, but it's a very good anti-infantry tool. It's much better than the T70, and as you can see, the T70 can't really do any damage to it. All of its bullets bounce off. Now, I'm not sure if that's like a thing where they messed up the way that stuff is supposed to work, but that's the way it currently is at the moment. And this is something that I like about the Austere versus the Russians. While this match I did lose, I do like the way that the Austere fight the Russians and how the Russians fight the Austere. I like the little synergy they have between each other. What I don't like is this. I don't like a unit that's basically anti-infantry that can't be killed by anything but a supposedly anti-tank thing. As you can see, I'm getting the anti-tank unit from the Russian tank hall, and this is something, and this is just ridiculous right here. This right here is ridiculous. Retreating, just being produced and killed on retreat. Yeah, that should never happen. And really, this Lukes is kind of ridiculous in the way that it comes out. But I'm not here to complain about the game. I just wanted to bring up some balanced things as I gave you this update on what it is. But this is the game. At the moment, the Company of Heroes servers are dying off as of now. Like, they're not going to be used anymore. So you're going to have to. So we're going to be probably trying to find a way to use Hamachi in order to actually play the game more. But with that, then that's the end of this video, as the match is about to end here. There are a lot of units that are very interesting in this game. They're much more based around the use of the what's it called, around a good historical sense, and that's something that you might want to always keep in mind. Something that I also want to bring up is that the German sniper actually does fire faster than the Russian sniper. That's what I was saying earlier, if I didn't mention it. And now we have a PaK 40 being brought out. PaK being very good against tanks, if you know, from Company of Heroes. This T90, most useless vehicle in the game, trying to flank a PaK. Can't even do damage to it. And like I said, beta, so some things just don't work as of yet. Like damage things just don't work as of yet. And you saw that guy just died to like one PaK shot. And that's where I call game. But that's the end of this replay. And I will see you all next time for another replay when I'm actually starting to cast. But this is the Eastern Front mod. You can download it in the link in the description. It's if you're not in the austere beta, then you can't play as the austere, but you can actually still play as you still can play as the Russians versus like the Wehrmacht or versus the Panzer Elite. So that's something that you always want to keep in mind. And that has the tank hunters. I don't know exactly what it was, the reasoning. I believe I was told that something happened to where they decided to get rid of tank hunters, but I don't want to get into that. But tank hunters, very useful when they were in, and I'd like to see them come back. Also, the doctrines, I meant to bring this up. The doctrines for the Russians are they have the urban assault doctrine, they have the propaganda war doctrine, and they have the breakthrough assault doctrine, or breakthrough tactics. The breakthrough tactics is more based around the use of tanks. It's similar to armor for the Americans. Propaganda war is more based like an infantry plus probably a more infantry based doctrine. Like if you're looking at, like, if you want to compare this to Americans, yeah, this is more like an infantry based doctrine. And urban assault is kind of like infantry as well, but it's more like an infantry mixed with maybe like a scorched earth tactics from the Panzer Elite. And for the austere, they have like the support army group, the elite army group, and the fortress army group, all of which are based around the thought of using like different units in composition with each other in order to actually fight the enemy. This pack was actually decrewed. I don't remember the T-70 even decrewing it. That was weird. Once we move to the Steam servers for a little bit of time, the units will not be able to actually recrew or decrew or really recrew weapons, should I say? So that will be a sad way to go. But hopefully they'll be opening the beta open for more people to actually play. So then we'll be able to actually see more games, and I'll be able to cast more. But at the moment, I'll just bring up some games from back in March, some 1v1s and 2v2s, while things go on. So I'll see you all next time for the first beta cast of the austere beta. And if you actually play if you play Company of Heroes and you play the pre-austere beta 1.7.2, the current patch for normal. For normal Eastern Front, you have some replays from that patch. Send them in. I'll go ahead and I'll check them out. I'm not exclusively doing austere beta, but thanks for watching, and have a nice day.